Hey, what's happening, Nation? It's Joku. Welcome to episode 10 of The Nation's Voice. 2.5 months we've been doing this, man. I'm loving every second of this. I truly, truly am. I've gotten a lot of new subscribers lately, so for those of you who don't know, every Thursday night, 9:30 Eastern Time, I go live. I come out there, I put 4 topics, put my 2 cents out there, and then I really just want to hear from you guys. We've been going through the roster, we've been breaking down teams. We've been breaking down our team piece by piece. We're going to expand it a little bit tonight. We're going to be doing our 39th player. And then we're going to talk about a few things that, you can see it on the screen, just things that I really think have a possibility of truly happening. So I want to hear your guys' opinions on it. We're not going to waste too much time. We're going to go ahead and jump right into it. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. But let's start off tonight. We're going to start off with a player. It's the 39th player we've done. It's Dion Jordan. He's 6'6", 284. He's 30. He played in 7 games for us. He had 5 tackles, 2 sacks, and 1 pass defended. He's gonna end up being a free agent. My first question is, do you guys want to keep him? Do you think that's a dude that we want to keep on this team? A lot of people are pretty high on Dion Jordan. I really think that Raekwon Davis out of Alabama, I think we can get him in the third. I think he can fill this spot perfectly. He's a little bit bigger, he's younger, and he's way, way faster. But I like Dion Jordan, and he hasn't really played that much football. That's the thing I do not like about Dion Jordan. But he has a good backstory, and he is a good player. And I think if we had a full season out of him where he didn't have any suspensions, and really it's all been suspensions, it really hasn't been injuries, I think he could end up having a pretty decent year. I would like to see him stay around as depth. I think he would take a pretty team-friendly contract. So let me know what you guys think about him, because Dion's a tough one. Hey, Zach, what's happening, man? We should keep him if it's cheap, like $2 million tops. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I do not want to pay this man at all. I do not think that he deserves a shit ton of money by any means, especially with the needs that we have out there, especially if he's going to be a depth player at that. So I really want to keep a close eye on that. If we can get him cheap, let's bring him back. There's no reason not to. But if he's going to go out there and try to get a bunch of money because he played in 7 games and had 5 tackles and 2 sacks, see ya. It is what it is. We can get a young guy to fill that spot for depth on through the draft, or honestly through free agency, because I have a feeling we're going to be signing a ton of dudes out there. So just give me your honest thoughts on Dion. I like him. I really do. But I could see him staying. I could see him going. It's really not going to affect me either way. So I just want to hear your guys' opinions on it. It's player 39. We only got, 13 more players to go before we had last year's roster covered. There's going to be a few guys like Kyle Wilber that I don't end up breaking down. There's no reason to go out there and break down Kyle Wilber. But he has been a Raider for a good minute, so he's doing something right out there. So he might end up sticking around. We'll have to see what happens with that. Somebody on that team has a special, special love for him. And then the next thing I wanted to jump into, feel free to comment on Jordan if you're in here. Man, this fucking coronavirus is driving me insane. My kids' schools are shut down. All the surrounding counties are shut down. There was a case of it 100 miles from us. And I get it, we're being proactive. It is what it is. But this shit is literally shut down every major sporting event out there. It really has me wondering what's going to happen with the NFL. They were talking about the draft, about how they weren't going to have everybody come to the draft anymore. At that reason, there's no reason to do it in Vegas anymore. Just do that shit in a room if everybody's going to be calling in their picks, and it's just going to be Goodell walking out on stage announcing the picks, and then there's nobody up there to come up and shake his hand. I'm really curious to see how this shakes out and if they end up doing it at all. There's so many rules right now. You can't have more than 250 people, so maybe it'll just be the players all in separate rooms, but I don't even know if they'll do that shit. They're not going to take any chances with this. So I'm really curious to see what happens with this. I'm not an expert about any of this, but what do you think it's going to affect? First, the NFL season, and then do you think we're going to end up getting pushed back to where we're not going to be playing games right off the bat in this 2020 season? There's a very, very real possibility of that. It could extend this offseason dramatically, which would totally suck. But at the same time, nobody wants this fucking virus, man. It sucks. And it's knocking people out left and right. So give me your opinions on that. I know that's pretty off topic, but it's still, man, this is going to affect the NFL. So I want to hear what you guys think about it, because there's a lot of people out there saying it's nothing. There's a lot of people out there saying it's the end of the world. I guarantee you it's not that shit. But it is. I mean, it's shut down major sports. Shut down Disney. Like Disneyland and Disney World and Universal Studios. Disney is like one of the greediest companies on the planet. So if all this stuff's kind of being slowly faded out, and as a dude who owns 2 restaurants, I don't want to see this shit carry on. Shit scares the hell out of me. I'm not even going to lie to y'all. So let me know what you think about it. Let me know how you think it's going to affect the Raiders. Let me know if you think it's going to affect the draft. The draft, I'm pretty sure it's definitely going to affect. I'm just curious to see how they do it. And I'm curious to see if they still keep it in Vegas. So let me know your thoughts about that. Like I said, I'm not going to spend too much time on this one just because I don't have any real information on it. I just want to know what you guys think about it and how it will affect the NFL. So hit me up in the comment section. Let me know what you think about that. I'm very curious to see what your guys' opinions are on that. Let's keep moving on here. We're going to push into Derek Carr. Everybody's favorite topic, it seems, lately. Shit drives me insane. Oh, catch up what's happening, man. But it got me thinking. I put out that video a few days ago, and I pretty much shit on Marcus Mariota. It is what it is. That's my opinion on it. You guys have your opinions on it. But it got me thinking, that was like the exact shit that Benjamin Albright was talking about through his whole little conversation that he was having out there. Was the Raiders bringing in that transitional vet quarterback, trading off Carr, drafting the rookie, and then moving forward with that. And that's the part that kind of scared me. I do not think that's what we're going to do. I'm not sitting here saying that. But, I mean, Albright has way better connections than I do. I don't have NFL insiders knocking on my basement door telling me what the hell's going on. I'm just a dude down here cutting videos. And the fact that this is kind of playing out the way that he described it exactly scares the shit out of me. So I want to know what you guys think about that. And a lot of you guys gave me your opinion on Mariota. And I will agree with you. After I thought about it and sat down for a while, he's a way better backup than the backups that we currently have on this roster right now. But if Albright's right, we're bringing him in so we can trade Carr and bring in a rookie. So I guess the question at that point would be, what rookie do you want to see come onto this team? And kind of, let's say we get Mariota, we trade Carr, all of a sudden we got a 2nd round pick and our 2 first round picks. Is there a quarterback out there that you want to see come in for a season behind Mariota, some fucking random chance, and then play through and take this team over? There's very few out there that I think could do it. And in my opinion, if we got into the 2nd round, I don't think we would have to trade Derek Carr for it. I think we could go out there and get Hurts and then let him play behind Carr. There's no reason to trade Carr unless you need to trade Carr to get that 2nd round pick to get him. And if that's the case, then you are looking at Mariota being our starter for the 2020 season in Vegas. And that scares the hell out of me. That has to scare everybody out there. I know a lot of you guys out there hate Carr, and that is what it is. But at the same time, you want Marcus Mariota, week 1, 2020, kicking this team off? No, not as the starter. Hell no. There's no chance of that. So I don't know. That one's tough for me, man, because once I started thinking about it, and then I watched his interview one more time, and I was like, come on, man. If this actually pans out like that, I will be so pissed off. But it's looking more and more like it's going to. Hurts may not be available in the 2nd round. Fierce, what's up, man? That's very true. He might not drop to the 2nd round. The more and more hype he gets around him, he keeps moving up that draft board. I've said it before, that draft board is ever changing, but he's my number 1 quarterback in this draft, pretty much, that we will actually have a shot at getting. I do not think there is any reason we shoot for him at 12 or 19. I've heard a lot of people talking that if Tua drops to 12, we might end up taking a shot at Tua, and then that would be that same exact situation, except Tua could play behind Carr because there would be no reason to trade him at that point. So I don't know, man. That's a tough one. But Fierce, you make a good point, dude. Hurts is moving up the boards. Catch up. If we get a good cornerback in free agency, I'll be good. If we trade Carr for whatever reason and draft a QB, that's not making a splash in Vegas. We need to keep Carr, sign Mariota, Carr the starter. And I mean, that honestly works. Then you have Carr as your starter. You got Mariota back there, backing him up. And if by some chance Carr gets hurt or he just completely shits the bed for some reason, then you can bring Mariota in there and then look for a quarterback moving forward after that. But at least then you have somebody. That's the thing. I said it before. I don't think Marcus is really going to push Carr. I just don't see that happening. They're very, very similar quarterbacks. But he could end up taking over the spot if Carr does get hurt. But either way, in that situation, you know right then and there, we are searching for another quarterback. Because let's face it, 2020 is a prove-it year for Carr. I mean, it is. If he either does it right now, this next season, or he's gone. Like, gone off this team, and he'll end up playing for somebody else and starting for somebody else. But he will no longer be a Raider, and that is what it is. Chris, what's happening, man? Mariota is a backup, nothing more, nothing less. I wouldn't consider drafting a QB until next year. I don't think we will draft a QB until next year. I don't even think we're going to take a QB real late in this draft. I think if we end up actually pulling this move and getting Marcus Mariota, which, I don't know, man. There's other guys that we go out there and get Teddy Bridgewater. I know he's going to be a little bit more money, but if you want somebody to actually be behind Carr and pushing him to have his best season through his must-do-it year, I want it to be somebody a hell of a lot better than Mariota. I want it to be somebody who could actually go in there and win that starting job through the offseason. And there's very few of those out there, but I sure as fuck don't want it to be Brady. That is what it is. I'm not even going to talk about that dude, but I'm just saying there's other options out there. Mariota to me is like bringing in Jameis Winston, being like, okay, you're going to play behind Carr and see what happens. I mean, I don't want Jameis Winston leading this team. It's bullshit, dude. But it is what it is, and all this stuff is slowly starting to come together, and the closer we get to free agency, the more and more you're going to start seeing about this coming forward. I told you people were going to start talking about Brady again after we got rid of Whitehead, and sure enough, they did. It was just because we were freeing up more money. I do not think that is the option out there. That is such a stupid, stupid idea to bring him onto this team. Fears, what about Jacob Eason? He might be available in the second round. I do like Eason, and it's very, very possible. If we trade out to get into that second round, I'm telling you right now, we are getting a quarterback. And whether it's us trading 2 third-rounders or a third and our fourth to get into that second, if we move into that second round, it's going to be for a quarterback. Those 2 first-round picks, I'm pretty sure, are pretty much set. Neither one of them involve a quarterback. I've said it before. I think we're getting a wide receiver. We damn well better get a linebacker. I was talking to Gorb Raider earlier. There's so many past seasons where I sat there like, let's get a damn linebacker, and he feels the same way, and then we don't. We end up blowing it on something. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but it's never a linebacker. We need one of these top talent linebackers. Even if they suck that first season, just knowing that they are on this team will make a huge difference. And linebackers always have a pretty damn big impact when they step on the field their rookie season, so please take a damn linebacker. Chris, what the team needs, the draft depth, I like Murray and Queen in the first round, and a wide receiver in the third or second if we can't find a way to get a second. I've mentioned that, taking 2 linebackers in the first round. A lot of people say that Gruden does not want to have 2 rookie linebackers out there, but at the same time, it's just so much speed, like so much speed. I would truly love to see that. I would honestly like to see us get a corner and a linebacker in that first round. I don't think it's going to happen because I don't think the true number 1 round cornerback, that Akuda kid, is going to be there by the time we get to 12 even. So let me know what you think about that. But this draft has to be defense. It has to be. We can pick up pieces in free agency on both sides of the ball, but this draft has to be mostly defense if we're going to make an impact out there. We need a wide receiver in the first. I did a mock draft about a week ago now. And with that number 12 pick, I had us taking either Judy or Lamb. I stand behind that. We desperately need a true number 1. I know Mayock shits on him, and I really think that's just part of getting people to kind of back away and hoping that they slip. If either one of those dudes are available at 12, and I'll tell you, if they're available at 12, if they're both there and Simmons is still on the board, I think we take Simmons at that point. But then we definitely come back at 19 and take one of those 2 guys because one of them would still be there at 19. So I'm going for that. But yeah, for Ferris, we need a damn wide receiver in the first. There is no arguing that. There's too many linebackers on the free agency to pull that off. Plus, we had the money to work with. I want Littleton. I truly do. I want Littleton out there. I think if you got Littleton, you got Murray. And then if you got the Kingsey, man, and he did. He left Vegas without a contract. He's off to Green Bay, and then he's going to Buffalo. So there's a serious shot that dude's not going to end up being on this team. But sometimes you just check everything out. He might just be checking out his options. He's got some time before the free agency actually starts. So why not go look at all your options before you decide on anything and see what people are going to offer you. But I'll tell you right now, we'll get more into this in the end. There are a lot of linebackers, and there's a lot of good-ass linebackers out there that we could just fill completely in free agency. So let me know what you guys think about that, because I think you are right. There's a lot of things out there, or there's a lot of defensive players out there, and ones that are being cut right now, right before we get into free agency. It could make a huge difference for us if we go out there and sign some of these dudes, and we do. We have a shit ton of money right now. That's why I think we're truly on the cusp of having something great out there. Jeudy played a lot in the slot, though. He did. I personally like Lamb more than I like Jeudy, but both of them, I mean, Jeudy can easily side to that outside. He has the speed, the talent, the route running. Both, I mean, Jeudy and Lamb, they're top tier receivers. Either one of those dudes would be an immediate impact on this team. What's your realistic draft with top 3 rounds, your GM scenarios? I mean, it was we were taking Jeudy or Lamb in the first at 12, and then at 19 we were coming back and we were taking Murray, and then we dropped down into the 3rd round. I had us trading out of the 3rd and getting into the 2nd to take Hurts, but I think Ferris is right. He's moving up the board to where he might be a low-end 1st round pick, or just right at the top of the board in the 2nd round. So if that didn't happen, I'm not sure what we'd do with our third round pick, but I had us taking that Raekwon Davis dude. That dude is a fucking beast out of Alabama. If we can get him at pick 80 in the 3rd round, that would be a massive addition for this team. It would also be the end of Deion Jordan, but at the same time, I would not care because that kid is a fucking freak, like a true freak, and I want him badly. And then the other guy I had, was Jacob Phillips, the inside linebacker out of LSU. If we took him at 81, and then you brought in Murray, and you had Phillips out there, and then we go out there and get Littleton or Kirksey ends up coming back, or both of them end up coming back, that would be a huge advantage for us. That third round pick, I had us trading away, but then in the 4th round, I had the Shaheem Carter, that cornerback. He was from Alabama too. He's 6 foot 195. That kid has all the talent in the world. I really don't think he's going to end up making it to the 4th round. That's just kind of where he got pegged in the numbers. I think he's probably going to end up going mid-3rd. But that's where I would be, man. And then I think our picks after that, we don't have a 5th or a 6th. We just have a 7th. And that's why Mayock gets paid a shit ton of money, and I just sit in my basement because I have no clue who we would take with that 7th round pick. Fears the only way we draft 2 linebackers in the 1st is if Simmons is available. I mean, yes, but at the same time, if Simmons is available at 12 and we take him, there is no fucking reason to go out there and take another linebacker. It would be cool to have it, but at the same time, we could fill that void in free agency and then have that one freak on the field, and I would be perfectly happy with that. Chris, Ferris, I agree we desperately need a true number 1 wide receiver. I just feel like we can get one later. Don't get me wrong. I love Lamb, Jeudy, and Ruggs, but I feel like we can get a solid receiver later. And there is. I don't know all these dude names. I know there's a dude coming out of Notre Dame that's supposed to be like insanely good, who's been slipping down the draft boards. And there's one other guy that somebody was telling me about. I think he was out of, what team was that? I forget what it was, but he was a late round draft guy, but he was like 6'3". His 40 time was fast as shit, and he had pretty decent hands. It was just his route running that was off. But that first season or two, these guys are just going to be big play guys that go out there. You either get the ball and you score, you get the ball and get 20, 30 yards, or you don't get the ball at all. So I think any of those guys would be a big impact for us. Catch up at Fears. That would be a sweet draft. It would be a sweet draft. Chris, I'd love Murray and Simmons, but just can't see Simmons falling to us. Simmons and Okudah, man. Those 2 guys, since the combine, have moved their asses right up to the top of that board. And I don't blame them for it, but it's going to cause a bunch of other guys to potentially slip down. And it's possible that one of these QBs ends up slipping down. If one of these top tier, it's not going to be Burrow, but I mean, it's going to be Tua. But if he ends up slipping all the way down to 12, there's a chance we go out there and grab him. And if we do, that's going to flip everything. I guarantee you that. So I'm very curious to see what happens with that. Solid linebackers usually don't come out of later rounds. They really don't. Those top linebackers, they go quick, and there's only a handful of them out there every draft. But there is a decent amount of them in free agency right now that could end up making a pretty big impact. So if we can just get one or two of those guys and just get in free agency and then draft just one of these top two linebackers out there, I think that would be huge for us, like truly huge for us. I want a wide receiver in the first, but I can see Mayock and Gruden going all defense in the first round. It's really, I think it's going to, well, shit. I say that I really think it's going to be all defense, but at the same time, there's no telling what Gruden and Mayock do. These guys are looking for like certain kind of players. Like we saw that in last year's draft. We could have had a badass linebacker last season, but they went ahead and they were like, no, I think we're going to go defensive line now. And I mean, it worked out. He's a solid defensive lineman, and it is what it is. But I mean, Farrell could have been a stud linebacker. Farrell could have been Bush out there, just wrecking teams. But I mean, he was a position that we needed at that point. But I think now it's become glaringly obvious to everyone out there that our linebacking core sucks, and we need to do something dramatic about it. Catch up. Somebody needs to leak a video of Simmons smoking weed or something, so he drops to us. Yeah, I'll fake that shit. If I knew it was better on this damn computer, it would be all sorts of shit out there about him, making sure he was sitting there at number 12. I promise you that. Absolutely, brother. Anything can happen other than Burrow. It's all up in the air. Yeah, Burrow's going to the Bengals. That's locked in. They can say whatever the hell they want. Team is in desperate need of a quarterback, and that is where he is going. It may come down to how the other teams draft ahead of us, though. That's exactly, and that's honestly what it comes down to every year, is they have to go out there and you just got to wait. Just see how the board works out. There's a lot of players that are super high that end up slipping all the way. Shit, sometimes they slip all the way into the second round. So there's no telling who's going to be on that board come 12, come 19. I've heard a lot of people talking about us trading one of those two picks. That is not Gruden and Mayock style. That I do know. These dudes love their draft picks, and they love their first round draft picks. So I truly see us making both of those picks, and I really want to see how that shit plans out. If teams are taking linebackers ahead of us, then I could see us taking a linebacker in the 12 spot. At that point, like if they go out there and somebody snakes up Murray and Simmons definitely going to get taken, the linebackers after that, we might as well go ahead and wait or just focus more on free agency to lock them down. There's only like 3 or 4 true studs out there that are going to be major impact linebackers that are coming into this draft. So I'm curious to see what happens with that. No trading up. Yeah, no, shit. We're not trading up. The only thing I see us trading up for is maybe to slip into that second round. And that's where I see maybe Gabe Jackson getting dealt. You could put Gabe Jackson out there in your 4th round pick. Chances are you're going to slip into the second round. And I think that's where all this talk is coming from. And you might even be able to get a 4th round pick next season off the team just on the back end. So I'm curious to see what happens with that. And Queen is good, though. Yeah, Queen is damn good. But here's the thing about Queen that really gets me. And don't get me wrong, that dude had a killer season and he turned it on. But he wasn't even a starter for LSU at the start of last season. But he came in there and he made a huge push during that playoff run. I don't know if somebody said something to him or if he finally just clicked for him. But that dude stepped up and he ended up playing damn good. I would take Queen. I do not think Queen is a first round talent. I truly don't. I think that kid still has some time to grow. So I could see me being one of those guys that might slip down the board, but there's a lot of teams out there that like to get that young kid that they can just truly mold, that has all the talent in the world, just needs to be able to put it all together. And Queen is smart as shit. He picked up that defense incredibly fast, so I don't know. I'm curious to see. I'm super excited about the draft. Super, super excited about it. All right. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was, and I get pumped up about this shit. Can we have a top 10 defense in 2020? And if we make these moves that we've just been talking about, and we focus truly on the defensive side of the ball, there is not a doubt in my mind. And I know you guys think I'm crazy, and part of me thinks I'm crazy too, because let's face it, our defense has sucked for a long, long time. And it sucks to watch. But we have a shot right now of seriously putting something together. And if we can get these few key dudes out there, and it's going to be flipping this linebacker crew. It's going to be signing 1 or 2 big-name linebackers and drafting a rookie. getting a little bit more help at safety because sucks to say, but I do not think Carl Joseph is coming back to this team. I think somebody's going to make him a pretty decent offer in free agency. I do not think we are going to match it, and I think we are going to lose him, which completely sucks. I think he's a true key piece to this. I'm hoping that the Raiders realize that and bring him back. And maybe he'll get the same offer from some other team that we're offering him, and he'll just come back. So fingers crossed on Carl Joseph. But, dude, we are looking damn good. Our defensive line is looking good. And I want Raekwon Davis. I'm not going to lie about that. We can get that kid in the third round. I am guaranteed. And I think that would solidify our defensive line tremendously. And then we need a defensive tackle. I didn't realize how bad we needed a defensive tackle until I did the breakdown a few weeks ago on the Nation's Voice of our defensive tackles. But I think we can fill that void in free agency easily. I think our edge rushers are looking pretty damn good. I'd like to bring in one more in case Jordan does not stay. But I have a feeling he's going to end up sticking around. But I think we'll have a pretty damn good pass rush at that point, especially if we have some linebackers that actually get sacks. It would be a freaking miracle in itself. So, but I think the defensive line's looking good. We flipped the cornerback, or we flipped the linebacker position. Our safeties, we got to keep Joseph, but if we don't, I want us to get a safety that actually has some freaking size. I want a big safety, like a truly big safety, like 6'2", 215, 220. Somebody that can hang with these big tight ends out there in certain situations. And then our cornerbacks, I'm really big on Mullen. I think Worley's going to end up sliding over to that safety position, or that nickel spot, the nickel corner, more and more next season. Because I think we're going to go out there, and I think we're going to get Jones, man. And I'll tell you stick Littleton and Jones on this team, you get Murray out there, you bring in Raekwon. Dude, this whole defense is flipped, and we will be jacked. We will be fast, and we will be young as shit. And it has some serious potential. So let me know if you think I'm crazy, man. I'm going to go through some of your comments here. But I want to hear about this defense because I'm pumped about it right now. I truly am. I hate the idea of trading Jackson. We have a pretty solid offensive line, but they're all old except for Jackson. They are all old. And, I mean, we re-signed Good, and he is a little bit older. But when we re-signed him, it kind of put the writing on the wall for Gabe Jackson because he's the one dude that we have that does have, like, true trade value on our offensive line. But I totally agree with you. I do not want to see our offensive line tweaked with at all. I think when they're healthy, they're one of the best in the league. And even with the injuries they ended up having last season, they still played damn good. Like, damn good. So let's not screw with the offensive line. Gruden and Mack, let's leave that as it is. There is a linebacker from Appalachian State that I keep hearing about that's supposed to be a sleeper. I do not know who that is, Fierce. I apologize. But there's going to be those guys, and those are the guys that might end up being like that fourth-round guy that comes in there. Because we're going to end up bringing on a bunch of dudes, and then we're going to bring on a bunch of undrafted dudes, and then we're going to bring on all of our free agents, and we're going to end up having a huge roster that we're going to end up trimming back down. Man, I love the offseason in football. I'm not even going to lie. I've been hearing a lot about Judy and Riggs, and that Judy had lots of drops. I guess I don't know if that's true. Joku, we are not having a top 10 defense. I bet you a pizza. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't take that bet. I truly wouldn't. But there's the potential there. That's all that I'm saying, man. The potential is there for us to go out there and make the right moves. And dude, we could be jacked. It probably won't be top 10. But if we can hold true to where we're in, like, the top 15 to 20, I'm just so sick of being at the bottom of the damn barrel every single year in defense. Then people wonder, I don't know why we keep losing. It's got to be Carr's fault. Maybe it's the fact that our defense is ranked 32nd in the league, and every team that we play against shits on us and puts up 30 or 40 points. I ain't betting you a pizza. If we get a solid linebacker group and a quarterback, then we have a top 10 D. That's what I'm talking about, Chris. And we can do it. We can truly do it. We can do it through free agency. We can do it through the draft. It is a very, very real possibility. I want to see it happen, man. All right, top 10 stuff, but I want a top 15 defense. I want a truly legitimate run and pass defense that is in the top 15. And I think we will win a hell of a lot more games. Chris, I'd like a DT2, but I think if we cover the backfield, we'll be solid. I think we will too. I think our defensive line, I mean, by far was the brightest spot of our defense last year. And there are way more needs beyond our defensive line that we have to take care of. I think Crosby and Farrell working as a tandem can end up making a pretty big impact in most games out there. And I'm still big on Hurst. PJ Hall, I've fallen off on. I'm not going to lie. That's the reason that I keep saying we need a defensive tackle. But I think Hurst can bounce back and end up having a pretty damn good year next year. So I want to know, man. I truly want to know what you guys think about that. Might draft a linebacker in the third. That's true. That's that Justin Phillips kid. That's where he was ranked at. And he's playing right opposite of Queen, so he was out there. He was starting that entire season. I do like that kid. I like that kid a lot. He is extremely good in coverage, and he is extremely fast. And he doesn't have the numbers that you would like to see out of your linebacker, but being in the third round, being the teams that they play against, I mean, the SEC is pretty damn pass heavy, so it is what it is. But I like that kid. I like him a lot. All we can do is hope for the best and believe in our staff's choices. That's it, dude. We can go out there and speculate all damn day, but once free agency kicks off and these moves actually start happening, there's going to be some major changes coming to this team. And I truly think we're going to hold on to that little core group that we have out there, because last year it was just a fucking handful of dudes. It was like 3 or 4 dudes that you knew were like, they're going to be Raiders. And now I think it's honestly like probably 10 to 15 dudes that you know moving forward are going to be on this team. And then next year, hopefully it's 15 to 20 guys that are going to be sticking around for sure. I mean, those aren't exact numbers, but you know what I mean. Just to keep that group and then just keep growing it to where they can just start building that true foundation that they're always talking about. And getting into year 3, you should have a pretty good base to your foundation, and you should be able to make a pretty damn big impact. And I truly think we're going to. Catch up. Ruggs only had 1 drop last year. Ruggs is a super fast one out there, right? That dude that just blew everybody's time off the board in the 40. I do like that kid, and he's super tall. And I was watching somebody else's video. I forgot who it was, but they called him the jump ball god. So I don't know if it's not Judy or Lamb in that first round. I don't want Ruggs in that first round. I'm not gonna lie. I think he's gonna be one of those dudes that ends up slipping because this is so deep as far as the wide receiver talent, but at the same time, the free agency wide receiver talent does not look very good. I mean, Robbie Anderson's your number 1 free agent wide receiver out there. A lot of these other guys, I don't think they're going to end up leaving the teams that they're on. I know AJ Green, everybody's pretty big on. I would love to see AJ Green, but if they go out there and get Burrows, they're going to franchise his ass so damn fast to where he's not leaving Cincinnati until his career's over. Which sucks to see. You never want to see a dude just rot away out there in Cincinnati, so that kind of sucks. But that's what I got for you guys tonight, man. Hit me up in the comment section if you guys want to discuss anything else out there. But if not, let me know, man. Let me know what you guys think. And I appreciate everybody that comes out and watches these. I truly enjoy making this show. I truly make it just so we can go back and forth and just have a minute out there to just kind of bullshit back and forth and just see where the nation stands. Oh, Raider Rich, what's up, dude? What's your thoughts on trading up for Tua while we draft capital to get competent QB under rookie contract? FYI, Zay Jones had no drops while leading the league in uncatchable balls. I did not know that's a fact about Zay Jones. At the same time, everybody said they want to see Zay Jones stick around. A lot of you guys said that. You want to see Zay Jones stick around and make a pretty big impact out there. And I'll give you that. I was pretty big on Zay Jones when he came onto this team. I thought he was going to be like a true possession receiver for us. A lot of you guys said, give him one more offseason, let him learn this offense a little bit better, get a better rapport with Carr, and that we'd see a big difference. So I'm curious to see what happens with Zay. I talked about Tua earlier, and if Tua dropped the 12, and I mean, if guys like Simmons and Akua weren't out there, I would take Tua. I'd rather take him at 19, but there's no chance he slips all the way to 19. But at least at that point, you have somebody behind Carr. I really think we can get Hurts late. Man, I know he's not going to drop to the 3rd, but I think if we get into that 2nd round, I think we could get Hurts in that 2nd round. I know he's moving up the draft boards, but all that shit's going to change dramatically on draft day. So, but I don't want to. I think that hip injury scares the shit out of me. I understand he recovered from it. I understand he's been playing good and he's throwing the ball well, but that's a serious injury, man. When you get your hip replaced like that, there ain't nothing to joke around with. Furious Ruggs is more than just speed, though. Ruggs could go in the 1st simply because he is a rare commodity. He is, and I think Ruggs will end up going in the 1st. I think he will slip, but I think he's definitely the number 3 receiver on this board. So I don't know. If Ruggs goes late in the first, then maybe it is going to be that dude from Notre Dame late in the third. Catch up. See you guys. Catch up, man. I appreciate you coming out, dude. Thank you for making it out. I truly do appreciate that. Carr didn't throw the ball to him. No, Carr really didn't throw the ball to him. It wasn't very often. That dude had very few targets, he had very few catches. And I don't know. If you're one of the outside receivers, you have to be able to make an impact on a team. We have not had that shit in 2 years now, and it's driving me insane. That's why I say right now that Zay Jones is not that guy. He's not. If he was that guy, he would have made an impact last season. He would have had way more catches than he had, and he would have made a way bigger difference on this offensive side of the ball. So I do not see him sticking around. With the needs, I absolutely do not want to see us take a quarterback in this draft. No, I do not want to see us take a quarterback in this draft either. But if we were going to take one, that's why I kept saying Hurts, because a lot of people want to see us take a quarterback. In my personal opinion, no, I do not want to see a quarterback in this draft. I truly do not think there's a need for it. I think Carr is our guy. I think Carr's our guy moving forward. I think Carr's going to shatter his ceiling and silence every damn person out there that's bashing on him. And if he doesn't, so be it. Then we need a quarterback. You get into the next year's draft. We have a shitty record. We got a good first-round pick. And then we go out there and nail one of those top dudes. So, yeah, Chris, I completely agree with you. Also, I believe Lamb and Jeudy fall to the second round from last year's draft. That's very true. Those receivers for last year's draft, they dropped down the board a considerable amount. But I do not see Lamb or Jeudy dropping. Those dudes are going to get snaked up. I really think those guys are not rare talents, but they're a couple of the best receivers that have come out in a long time into the league. Honestly, probably since Cooper, as much as I hate to say that. But Cooper was one of those guys where he came in the league, you knew he was going to make an impact, and then that first year he went out there and had over 1,000 yards and like 7 or 8 touchdowns. And I think both those guys are that caliber playing. Absolutely DC4. Depending on who the QB is, Lamb will not fall to the second. There's no chance. Like, a lot of these dudes you can pin that are going to be gone in the top 15 to 20, and Lamb's definitely one of them out there. All right, guys, that's it for tonight. For closing in on that 40-minute mark. Dude, thank you guys so much for coming out and bullshitting with me. I'll probably be live again in the next day or two. All the stuff I shoot is live. So I don't know. I just wanted to thank you guys for it. And then we'll definitely be back next Thursday, 9:30 Eastern time. So be sure to check that out. Let me know in the comment section or just hit me up real quick as I'm getting through this entire roster. I need more shit to talk about on this show. I truly love making this show. So if there's anything you guys want to talk about or just kind of see me break down to where we can all discuss it, leave it in the comment section or just hit me up after the video post and just let me know what you think. Check these last few. Lamb can fit any offense, Fierce. That is completely true. But are people going to make excuses next year after another year of not giving all? No, Raider Rich, I do not believe that. I think this is a make it or break it year for this entire Raider squad, including the majority of our coaching staff, with the exception, or honestly, including Gruden. You got 3 years of complete control, and you don't continually get better and like proven strides out there. People are going to lose their jobs. That is what it is. It's the NFL. This is a win-now league. You get 3 years to do your rebuild in this league, if you're lucky. And this will be Gruden's 3rd year in it. So I truly expect this team to be 11-5, 10-6 at the absolute worst. And if it's anything below that and we miss the playoffs, I guarantee you heads are going to spin. Carr's gone, and there's a possibility. I mean, Gunther's gone at that point. Carr's gone. Gruden might be gone at that point too. I'm very curious to see how it plays out because this is a must-win year, especially going into Vegas and carrying all that hype and shit behind us. You got to do something out there. Mitch, what's up, dude? Catching in right at the end. I appreciate all your comments, man. I truly do. So keep them coming. I like to hear what you got to say about it. But yeah, guys, I'm wrapping it up. Until next time, DC won only 1 game without Jacobs. All right. I mean, Jacobs is a special talent, man. I am telling you that. And without Jacobs on the field, that was a huge weapon that Carr lost. Because I don't think he had Williams that game either. So he was missing his number 1 receiver and his number 1 running back. And then you got a guy like Washington who, I'm telling you right now, is not going to be a Raider next year. It's just tough. It's tough to build and turn it all around. Took 49ers 5 years to build that build them to Super Bowl caliber, and they did. And they did that shit through the draft. And it was awesome to see. And if they had a quarterback on that team, they would be a Super Bowl champion right now. But I think we're on that same plan. But every year for the past 5 years, you saw the 49ers getting progressively better and better and better. So their GM and their owner were willing to wait it out and be like, all right, this is actually working. This is working. We're going to keep building forward. You got to give Gruden at least 5 years. And I think they will give Gruden 5 years. But I think the players that are around Gruden will not see that 5-year mark. So let me know what you guys think, man. Until next time, I'm Son Joku. We will catch you guys later. Thank you all very, very much.